Memorization sucks. Normally in language classes, they want you to memorize a lot of vocab, which is understandable because they have to test you. They can't test you on how well you can figure things out or how well you can guess words. They need to test whether you know this particular word or this particular word. So I understand that. But to me, as someone who likes to self-study languages, this method is so garbage, and I don't like using it in my own self-motivated, self-targeted language learning. It's boring, it's frustrating. You don't learn future concepts when you're just rote memorizing things. It doesn't lead me to understand future concepts when I look at them. Story time. When I was learning French, I had a lot of energy in me, a lot of motivation. I was really ready to learn. So that first semester of French that I took in freshman year of high school, I remember that for our first vocab list, I studied it really hard. I made a flashcard for every word. I looked at those flashcards more than twice a day from the time it was assigned to us to the time there was a test, so probably I saw it multiple times every single day. And by the time the test came, it was like automatic to me. I didn't even have to think about what some words meant because it was just so automatic to me. I think it was a good choice. So the whole point of this video is how much I hate memorization, but I think in that case, it was good. French has a lot of past participles you need to remember, a lot of verb stems you need to remember, future verb stems, subjunctive verb stems. So there's really no way to get around it other than memorization. When things don't follow the rule, they don't follow the rule. You can't possibly know what it is. So because of that, when I made such a strong base that first year of French class, I think that helped me in future years to, instantly understand new concepts because I could kind of see some, grand pattern that was building up. Another story of the, opposite side. When I was learning Korean, it was completely self-motivated, completely self-taught, and I just never sat down to make flashcards. I had a really cringy notebook where I wrote a bunch of grammar points, and I just went from grammar point to grammar point every day. I actually have a really good memory of that. I remember that was around the time that Mario Kart 8 came out, so I would put on that Korean learning podcast. It was Talk to Me in Korean, and I would just play online in Mario Kart while that's happening. So some grammar points I just associate with certain tracks of Mario Kart, which is a weird connection to make, but that was my experience. But the point is, the result of not making flashcards, it was really significant because I was able to make really quick progress because I wasn't too focused on, okay, what's the word for laundry? What is the word for hairdresser? And, focusing on words that I may or may not use. I was just moving on to the next concept, next grammar point.
Another club, plane.
Because of this, I improved really fast, but I had some holes in my knowledge. Granted, they got filled in later. Just by using the language so much, those holes got filled in. But if I didn't use it, that hole still remains. So for example, when I was learning Korean numbers, there are numbers that are native to the Korean language, and then there's numbers that are imported from Chinese. And you use them in different contexts. But because of my age, I didn't really use any of the Korean numbers past 20. And so because of that, I don't think I really remember the Korean native numbers for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. But I guess if I didn't use them, did I really need them? If I've never needed them up to this point, are they really that valuable? But I think I got a good skill by avoiding some basic language. I could kind of learn how to weasel my way out of memorizing some really useless words like whiteboard or marker, which would have been a whole lesson in my French class. So, okay, I acknowledge there are some points where memorization is good. Rote memorization is really good for memorizing vocab, and it's good for learning some irregularities that really don't have any logic to why they are the way they are. And every natural language has something like that. No language is perfectly logical. Rote memorization is not good for assuming new structures or guessing a sentence and just hoping it works. For a learner that's really focused on memorization, I don't think they can critically think and create a new valid structure, whereas somebody who's not focusing on memorization is trying really to focus on how words interact with each other. Maybe they can figure out some new way to fix the problem. For example, very recently on my Instagram, I was trying to translate a song. It was from the Bulgarian language into the Japanese language, and I encountered a really difficult structure. The Bulgarian structure was something like something that makes me not forget you. So it's causing a negative action. That works in English, that works in a lot of European languages. So my brain was trying to think, how do I translate this Bulgarian lyric into Japanese? And I had to think more and more, and then I kind of got the light bulb above my head and realized, oh, there's another way I need to structure this. I kind of had to go another route in Japanese. I had to turn the verb into an adjective. It was like from the verb forget, I made it the adjective hard to forget, and then I made that adjective into a causative form. So make it hard to forget you. Whereas in Bulgarian, it was make me not forget you. So I kind of had to weasel my way into figuring out how to use it with another structure. I didn't really learn this structure in school because, well, that's not how Japanese people think. They don't think about causing a negative action, but they do think about causing adjectives a lot. So I think if I was so focused on memorizing all the grammar points they taught me at school and focusing on vocab words, I don't think I could have logically deduced that I could have done that. But because I'm trying to always weasel my way out of memorization, I was able to remember that point. So, okay, my more nuanced take, to modify what I said at the beginning, there is a little bit of nuance here. There is room for both in language learning. There's room for memorization and there's room for kind of understanding logic. At the beginning, when you can't really understand the logic of the language, I think that's the moment you should be memorizing. That's the moment you should just be rote memorizing. This means this word means this word, because you just don't know enough to see some grand pattern. But towards the middle, I think it's really beneficial to take off your training wheels, metaphorically, and stop worrying about memorization so much. These days, I'm trying to be more open to memorization. I have re-downloaded Anki. I have been inputting some vocab words that I've been seeing in my language practice, and I'm really curious to see if that's helpful. I haven't really focused on memorization in so long, so I'm really curious if this will be even worth it. I guess ask me again in a month and see if it was worth the memorization or if I've given it up. Okay, screw the nuance. I'm doubling down. I hate memorization, but I have to do it sometimes. I acknowledge that we have to memorize some things, but it feels like pulling teeth. It's so painful. I'm someone who wants to make sentences and write diary entries and use the language. I don't want to sit and, click one of the 4 buttons on Anki and say, okay, I understand that. Okay, that's easy. Okay, let's review. I hate that. I just want to make a sentence and then afterwards I want someone to tell me, oh, that sucks, you shouldn't have used that. And then I think, okay, now I'm embarrassed. I remember it now. I think embarrassment is a much better method of learning words than rote memorization. Well, I guess that's that on that. What do you guys think? Do you guys like memorization? Do you guys like weaseling your way around memorization and kind of just thinking about the logic of the language? Let me know in the comments below. Check out my website. I make blog posts every week explaining something in English usually or another language, and I write a little bit about language learning and polyglotism. Instagram's really the place to be these days. Thank you for watching today. I'll see you again for another video very soon, okay? Bye-bye.